Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Also, when I entered college, I was very anxious because I thought that, okay, I did not know any of the subjects that I was going to be learning in this course. Excited to, because I was a complete fresher. I was really excited for my first ever corporate experience. So my heart was really broken when
Alright, so hi guys, welcome to the Real Humans of B School. Today we have Shivangi with us here who's coming from I am Indore. So welcome on board, Shivangi.
Hi Anisha, hi everyone.
So how are you been doing? What are you up to these days?
These days I'm just chilling, watching Netflix, watching everything that's there online, trying to be productive, reading books,
Okay,
doing some courses when I get time, just because I feel guilty that I'm not being productive.
that's interesting. I think first year of MBA you go through so much things. You're being occupied all throughout. So sitting idle sometimes gets just a little bit different for us.
Yeah, I think this is like the most wonderful opportunity that I've got, because I thought when I'll be pursuing an MBA, I wouldn't get time to come back home. But I think this is the longest time I've been home since the time I started my MBA journey.
True. So you're back at home in Lucknow now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's good. I think none of us would have imagined that we are going to be sitting at home for so long because we are also used to either working or, uh, in college and all of them. So, how was the first year for you at Indore?
So my first year was very, very overwhelming. So because firstly, I knew it would be really tough for me because I came from a completely different background. So for my graduation, I've done history.
Okay.
So when I entered college, I knew that I wouldn't find, even when I was preparing for CAT, I couldn't find anyone from my kind of background. So when
Correct.
I entered college, there was so many things happening, from new subjects being introduced to company placements happening and new assignments, everything. It was very overwhelming in the beginning. The first 3 months just flew. I didn't even realize how fast those 3 months passed.
That's
And
interesting.
also when I entered college, I was very anxious because I thought that, okay, all these engineers have an edge over me when it comes to quantitative subjects. People from commerce and economics background are good at accounting and all these
Yeah.
subjects. I did not know any of the subjects that I was going to be learning in this course. So I was a little underconfident, but now, having completed like 1 year, I found my kind of subjects that I'm interested in. So I think that's the best part of MBA, that it has so many subjects that even someone from a liberal arts background can also find their niche.
That's interesting. So, what are the subjects that you are planning to take up for your second year?
So I've mostly taken subjects in marketing and strategy,
Okay.
because when I was in my first year, that was something that I found really interesting. And so in my graduation, I had also done minors in psychology. So when I was studying subjects like OB, HRM, those were those concepts I could apply there also, and that was something really interesting, because I never thought that something that I studied in my graduation I would be applying in MBA.
Correct. So that's good. So your psychology and history, that relevance comes into place here, and it's like you mentioned. I think the first year was very overwhelming. The first 3 months, especially, when so many different subjects and all of them. I'm sure you would have been just one from a history background amongst the entire batch of 400
Yeah,
students.
yeah.
So how difficult was it to cope up with these new subjects? What helped you to make sure you get on to clearing all of them up?
So, firstly, like I said, I was really anxious because I did not have anyone that I could empathize with, because everyone knew some subject or the other. But one thing that really helped me was my peers. Like, peer learning was something that really helped me through. Like, we had a study group, we used to study together. Like, someone from a commerce background could help me out in accounting, someone from an engineering background would help me in quantitative subjects. So that was something that kept me going, and I could understand those subjects.
That's I think the most wonderful part of the whole concept of diverse backgrounds at an B school. Like pure learning actually makes you learn and understand a lot of things which you can't understand from the books. I'm sure you would have had a lot of other uh, perspective building also, apart from clearing all these subjects through the assignments as well as competitions and all of them.
Yeah, so I think one the greatest part about MBA is also the B school competition. So I participated in a number of B school competitions, and the best thing about that is that you're researching, and also it's you have some incentive to work for it, and you get to learn a lot because you're researching on ground level. It's some on hands exposure that you're getting when you're uh, working on a case, and the way
Mm.
the MBA curriculum is designed, it is based on a case pedagogy. So
Yeah.
they just don't teach you something straight out of a book. They'll give you a real example, a real case, a real life example of a company, so that you'll be able to relate and give your own perspectives. So that's one thing that was very different from the way things were taught in my school or college, graduation college.
That's really wonderful, and the way you said it, like the case pedo, it's completely different. So I'm an engineer, and we were so used to the kind of textbooks and the kind of learning, so it's completely different, especially subjects like finance. I'm sure even you would have realized that, like, it just doesn't click us what has to be done and all of those things. So that's the part of like the academic and the case studies and all of them. What was your things to, like, ease out or relax or have fun on campus? What would you do for that?
So I think in the first 1 year, I did not really get a lot of time to relax because half the time I was either doing some B school competition or I was working on my assignment or quizzes. And so I'm actually also a part of this club in my college. It's the marketing club. So we were either organizing some events, and that was also something that made me learn a lot.
I think it's very good, no? Like, what would you say? Like, being a part of these committees makes you actually put whatever you're learning into execution, like team management, organizing, and all of these things.
Yeah, definitely. Because like in OB also we learn so much about team management and how to execute events. Like these are things that I had done in my graduation college also, but it's something very different when you conduct it in a B school because there are so many more people and people from different backgrounds.
Correct. That's lovely. That's very interesting. So like now that we are back at home and we are going to go to college only once it reopens. So what is the most important thing or the most awaited thing for you that you look forward to on campus? Like, I want to get back and do this.
Mm, so it would definitely be meeting my friends. So even so my entire school life was actually in a boarding school. So I love that entire feeling of living in a residential college and amongst the community of peers. So I think when I went back to IIM Indore, I could re-experience that entire thing. So that's one thing that I
That's
love about college is the residential living part.
interesting. So where had you done your boarding school from?
From Dehradun, Vellum.
Oh, that's lovely. So Dehradun. So from Dehradun, Lucknow, and Indore, which one do you love the most?
Mm, Actually, Indore, I haven't really been out. I didn't get a lot of time to go out to the city, so I don't know if I can say Indore. It would be actually Delhi because I've done my graduation in Delhi.
Okay.
So I really love Delhi, yeah.
That's interesting. So you've actually explored and studied in all the different parts, like studied in Dehradun, Delhi, then Indore. That's interesting. And so, how about this whole internship? Though it was virtual internships this year, but what was your experience? Because you come from a very different background, like work studying in history and psychology,
Hmm.
and then coming and working like this. So, how was this experience for you?
So firstly, I was really excited to because I was a complete fresher. I was really excited for my first ever corporate experience. So my heart was really broken when it was converted into a virtual internship. But then the way I think they conducted the entire internship was I wouldn't say it was as good as in office experience, but it couldn't have been better in a virtual setting like they did it. And even the kind of projects that they gave us, I think it's going to really help me when I go back to college from Excel presentation to PowerPoint presentation. These are some things that I will carry on when I go for my B school competitions or any kind of presentations in college as well.
That's lovely. That's really interesting.